What's up, party people? It's KeysDAN with RadioWhat.com, DJLittleRock.com, coming to you live in a living color from the Radio What studios. And this is my podcast, What Makes You Famous? It's an extension of the RadioWhat.com internet radio station that I've been running for quite some time. And if you need DJ services, where do I always send you? DJLittleRock.com. One more time, DJLittleRock.com. Check availability and get a free price quote, and maybe you can have me at your next event. You know I like to party with the people. The people need to be entertained. Are you not entertained? Let me entertain you. Today on the program, I got Lawrence Luton, Geekster the SuperNerd. Oh, yeah. Have you heard of nerd music? Oh, you're going to hear a little bit more about nerd music. And that's a whole acronym. You're going to find out what the acronym for nerd music is during this podcast. I'm almost assured of it. So stick around for Lawrence Luton, Geekster the SuperNerd. You're going to hear about him in the next few minutes. Oh, this week's shows, let's see. Oh, I'm usually at the Rab on Friday night, but this week on Friday, I will be doing a kids show over at the at a middle school. I'll be doing a dance, a school dance at a middle school. I'm not telling you which middle school. I don't want you showing up there, you weirdo. But yeah, I'm kind of stoked, man, that I'm going to be doing a middle school dance. So the Friday night karaoke show at the Rab will still go on. I have somebody covering for me. One of the All About Entertainment crew is out there entertaining the people on Friday night. And then on Saturday, I have a wedding. I have a wedding in Jacksonville, Arkansas. Very stoked about that as well. And unless you're invited, you cannot come. So there. Nah. I'm just saying it because I'm excited. Weddings are back. Oh, yeah. Like they never left. I just get to be a part of these people's great days, the big days. Very stoked. I still get to do this after all these years. All right, I'm kind of excited. Not kind of excited. I'm very excited to be talking to Lawrence Luton, Geekster the SuperNerd. He found me on Twitter. Yeah. So if you want to find him on Twitter, do it. But you'll find him in the next, 20 seconds. Hey, if you're listening to the audio version, I encourage you to check out the video version on my YouTube page, youtube.com/user/KeysDAN. I got him on Skype, Skyping Lawrence Luton, Geekster the SuperNerd. Now, oh my goodness, I knew you could do it. You are.
I'm sorry to take excited about it. I'm sorry. My apologies.
Well, no, I'm excited to have you here, man. Shoot, I've been looking forward to this because I'm a child of the '80s. You know, in the '80s when computers started to really take off and computers started to come into people's houses and homes. I mean, nerds were taking over. In fact, they made not one, not two, not three, but at least 4 movies about revenge of the nerds. Of people, that were generally classified as the outcasts, the people that aren't going to make it in society, the people that are going to be, cast off. Yeah, us jocks, we rule because we're the strongest. We are the gladiators. No, the ones with the people with the brains. Those are the ones that are going to take over the world. And we knew that back in the 80s, and here we are in 2022. And, I think the nerds did take over the world. What do you think about that?
Absolutely.
Lawrence Luton.
I do. Absolutely. I know without a shadow of a doubt. I always believed that the slow and steady always win the race. And it built up to this situation. It built up to where what we created is a fundamental component of society. I knew we were going to get to that point. I knew we did. We just had to just trust the process.
Man, there is no process with this, man. It's a story all about you because I want to know about you. But I know that you're a storyteller. You spit the truth as you see it. And people need to check out your YouTube page. I want everybody to subscribe to your YouTube page because not only are you singing songs that are meaningful, they have some funny to them. They have some caricature to them, but they're also songs about truth, man. Songs about what's going on in the world today. And if we're not careful, we're going to be on. Well, I mean, in a way, we're metaphorically already on fire. But if we don't do something fast, man, we're never going to put this fire out. I mean, what do you think? What do you think when you start singing some of these songs? Oh my God, I was just listening to "Trump is a Chump." I mean, my goodness, man. When did you come up with that?
Oh, well, when I was working on the Death Star mixtape, I said to myself, I'm a nerdcore hip hop artist, so it has to be something that's current events, but with a nerdcore reference. I was like, okay, well, a lot of crazy stuff has been going on since Donald Trump became president. I said, well, you know what? How about I make my first mixtape a political project, but using Star Wars references. But when I started thinking about Trump as a chump, I'm like, well, you know what? I got to talk about this. So I looked at the news. I was looking at all the crazy stuff he was doing, and I was like, yeah, I have more than enough material for this song. And it came out good. Like one of the only songs that had 3 verses. That's just how serious it was.
Well, it had a good beat. It has good flow. When I was thinking about you, I was like, I don't know who this guy is. Let me listen to a few tracks. Man, you got a good backbeat. I don't know who's making your beats for you. If you're making yourself, being the nerd that you are, Geekster the SuperNerd, or if you have somebody that's helping you out making those beats. But the flow itself, you are legit, man. You are somebody who has the gift of gab, but not just that. You put it in poetry form, in the manners of Jay-Z, Curtis Blow, some of the guys that, my favorite is Heavy D. You're not that fast. You're not as fast as Heavy D, but you have a flow, man. Jay-Z said, slow it down, man. Slow it down. And that's what you do. You have a flow. It's easy to listen to. But, when was the first time you thought, you know what? I have poetry in my back pocket. I'm going to put it to music. How did that come to be?
Well, I was always writing music. Well, I started when I was 13, but I kept it a secret because I didn't know if people would feel it. But when I started working and I started just seeing opportunities coming, I said, I don't want to wait anymore. Let me just take this seriously. And the moment I started taking this seriously, it took the whole city by storm. Like nobody knew I could rap until I started working on Death Star. And people were like, dude, like, you actually sound mainstream. I'm like, well, I don't know about that, but I appreciate the compliment.
Well, it sounds like whatever you put your mind to it. If you had the verses, if you had the rhymes, you could do it. You could put it to beats, man. If it's something you believe in. Okay, I know the newest one is Slugs and Potatoes. That's one that came out, and you're talking about. I think you're talking about people that are like on the streets and shooting each other and killing each other and that kind of thing. Is that what Slugs and Potatoes is about?
Oh no! Now I'm glad you asked that because now I have the opportunity to talk about how awesome that song is. Now, Slugs is actually like a clever name, but it actually discusses how it is. It's 2 situations in which you know who really loves you and who has your back. When you're successful and when you're down bad. And the worst way to be down bad is when you're in prison. And when you get into prison, that's when everybody starts throwing salt on your name. Oh, I knew he was going to get locked up. He was no good anyway. I'm glad he's in prison, but that's where he needs to be. And the song was dedicated for people that they're low in spirits because everybody's talking noise about them now that they're incarcerated. People that they thought had their back, people that they really thought were day ones, but they're showing their true colors now that they're in a bad situation. So that song was an uplifting song, not just for them, but for the 2 of my cousins that are in prison for murders that they didn't even commit. So that song was for them mainly.
Well, when I was a kid growing up, that was called kicking a man while he's down. Okay, if you see somebody that's not doing too well, you pick them up. You reach down, you pick them up. I mean, I know growing up, trying to figure out my way, I must have kicked a man when he's down sometime. But then I realized it's the wrong way to be. And the earlier, the sooner that you can realize that we need to be helping people that are reaching out, that are crying out because they got nothing. I mean, a lot of times people do crimes, or, you know, even in the cases of your cousins who did not. But the people do crimes because they're desperate, because they don't have enough. They don't have food. They don't have shelter. They don't have money in their pocket, you know, and it's through little or no fault of their own. You see people all the time on the street corners begging for money, and you're going, if you're able to beg for money, how come you can't go work at Home Depot? Well, you need to stop and talk to those people. Maybe they can't. Maybe they're mentally unable. You know, what's the experience you've had with people like this?
I'm actually glad you mentioned that, because for some years it was a guy that would post up in front of gas stations and stuff like that. He would beg for change, and I remember one day, you know, a guy I was cool with said, "Man, I'm getting tired of that because all he's doing is begging." But I'm like, the look on his face, like you can tell with some people they're content with the situation they're in, but he wasn't. And guess what? 3 weeks ago, he started working at the same job I'm at. And when I saw him, I gave him a thumbs up and I said, "I see you." Man, that put the biggest smile on his face. And it's like, don't ever count people out so soon, because you never know what they have in the works, you know.
Well, Geekster, I mean, I'm in Arkansas, and I know that we have laws that people can panhandle. They can go on every street corner. You wonder, if you slip them $1, what are they going to do with it? You know, a lot of times you just don't know. And should you give them that $1? I don't know how it is in Mississippi. I guess you're in Belzoni, Mississippi. Tell me about Belzoni when you get a chance. But yeah, I mean, are there laws against panhandling there?
Oh no. I'll say the closest that comes to panhandling is loitering.
Loitering.
Like in certain areas, you can't loiter, or else you pay like a $200, $300, maybe $400 fine and stuff like that. But as far as panhandling, you know, anything goes. I've been in a situation where I've gave people a couple of dollars here and there, but it's also been a situation to where people have also begged, and I've also heard that they'll take the money and do other stuff with it. So they're like, "Well, hey, can I get something to eat? You know what? How about you walk in with me and I get you something to eat?" And see, that separates the real from the fake, because if you're hungry, you'll let me buy you that meal. But if you're fake, you'll be like, "Nah, man, I'm good." Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm from South Florida, from Miami, the Florida Keys, and we had people that would come down there, a big homeless population, because it's warm. You know, people can weather through the cold a lot easier. You know, but you know, you would there was on the news one time, NBC News Channel 7 down there did an expose where they followed this panhandle, and he had made at least $500 on that corner, walked around the corner to his Mercedes-Benz and drove it on home. It was just it's interesting, man. I worry that, hey, I know that there's people out there suffering. There's people, and you're okay. We were talking in the beginning about Trump, but you could follow that up with, before Trump there was Barack Obama. So the pendulum went from one extreme to the other extreme. And mind you, I'm not a fan of anybody in the government, but I know that the left, the far left, is going to steal your money and give it to the poor, and the far right is going to steal your money and give it to the rich. Okay? They're all going to take your money some way or another. Because, you know, when I was growing up, I always thought Republicans would take your money and give it to the corporations, and the Democrats would take your money and give it to the poor. I don't know what's better. You know, maybe the government stay out of my business. but I don't know what's better. What's good for you, man? Which side, which extreme do you want to be on?
I try to be as neutral as possible, because one thing I've learned, and with me, I've always been a fan of South Park, but they had one episode that really spoke to me. When they had to choose between voting for a giant douche or a turd sandwich. And at the end of the episode, they said, no matter what you're going to do, no matter where you go, when it comes to politics, you're either going to vote for a douchebag or a turd sandwich. So I'm like, now let me fall back. And when I saw that episode, it also helped me write another song for the mixtape Death Star called No Trust in Man. Yeah. And a lot of people gravitate toward that song because a lot of people were ashamed to admit that they don't vote either because it's all bullcrap. Because in this day and age, it doesn't matter who you vote for, nobody wins. Nobody wins but the people you vote for.
Man, that's the cynic in me that thinks the same thing, but that's the higher up stuff. I've been convinced that, yes, you need to vote for the local things. You know, take care of your own neighborhood, take care of your front yard, take care of yourself and your family. You know, it goes outwards in concentric circles, but you have to take care of your community. I know that there's stuff on the bill real close by, you know, and I know we got on politics pretty quick, but I know that you're a very thoughtful person. I mean, when your raps are not just raps about the Death Star, about, Star Wars, your raps, even if they are about Star Wars, they're going to be about something else as well. Kind of like a movie. You know, you watch a movie and you go, this is a movie about Star Trek, and you're seeing the Klingons and they're getting along with the Earthlings, and they're getting along with the Vulcans. Oh, I know. This is about world peace. This is about getting along with each other instead of fighting with each other. That's what it is. See, it's an analogy, an allegory, you know. But, that's the way your raps are. And I just want to know what you think of the world, man. What's going on in your neck of the woods? Okay, let's start with your hometown, Belzoni, Mississippi. That sounds like a very Italian city in the middle of the South. Belzoni.
Believe it or not, this was Mississippi. Like Belzoni was actually founded by one of like a French explorer, Battista Belzoni. So this city was named after him. But ironically, with it being like I live like basically deep in the bowels of Mississippi, like the Delta is literally the heart of everything. So it's pretty much where a lot of the discrimination and segregation and stereotype take place in the Delta. So growing up, it was rough because I didn't have too many people that were friends that were not my skin complexion, because even though it's not segregated, people still have that mentality. Like blacks and non-blacks don't even really just shop in the same grocery store. Like, and if you do, it's like what society would consider the trailer house trash. Like the white people that the upper middle and the higher class white people look down on them. But other than that, it was rough. It was certain places we didn't go to, certain places we didn't hang out in. So with me, I grew up sheltered for the most part. That's one of the reasons why. So it was rough. It was rough.
Well, I mean, I feel that, you know, and I'm like I said, I'm from South Florida, the Florida Keys. I mean, when I was growing up, it was the black, the white, the red, and the brown, the cripple and yellow, just like the song said. And I don't know why yellow came up last, but still, it was like everybody was together. It felt like there was a community that was so much tighter down in South Florida. And I know people in New York say the same thing. Everything was better in New York. It seems like big cities, either you live together or you just tear the city apart. So it's, when you're in a small town, there's less, you can go off in a corner and be by yourself if you don't want to be with anybody that's different from you. Oh, that guy's different from me, so I'm going to go over there. Yeah, I didn't even know that there was race until 6th grade, till somebody told me that guy was different from me and told me I wasn't supposed to like him. I went to Catholic school before that, and we were all, even though some people weren't Catholics, but we were all different races all together. And it's so amazing, man. It's like you're talking racism. Racism is definitely taught. It is something that is taught. It is not inherent in your mind. Somebody had to tell me that guy had a different skin color, and I was like, I'm half Cuban. I think I have a second cousin that's black as night, man. I don't think we're any one thing. You know, we're all the same people, and I guess genetically we all come from Africa. So there.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you, one of my favorite rappers actually said there's no such thing as race because there's only one race, and that's the human race. And that hit home when I heard him say that.
Is that KRS-One? What rapper is that?
Don Tripp. Don Tripp, one of my favorite rappers. He's actually from the east side of Memphis, Tennessee.
Okay, see, now you're turning me on to different things, man. Whenever I'm playing music on Friday nights of the Rab, I want to know what new songs can I play. And I know that there's going to be a Geekster the SuperNerd song popping up on the playlist, and people are going to go, "What is that up there? Who is that playing?" I'm going to say, "Oh, that's Geekster the SuperNerd." Well, he's got some good flow. But see, you're telling me about, okay, what's this guy's name again? I'm going to write it down.
Don Tripp.
Don Tripp. And is he okay? And what's the song that resonates with you about Don Tripp?
I would have to say "Like Me," the song "Like Me," because he did a mixtape with DJ Drama called Gorilla, and in that song, it just showed how high his self-esteem was by making it known he knew that people did not like him, people did not care about him or his music because he didn't follow trends. He wasn't trying to be like the mainstream artist, and he basically made it known that he had a wave that he was riding. He was going to continue to ride regardless of who tries to jump on it or not. And he's still relevant now. He's still releasing albums to this day.
Well, Lawrence Luton, that kind of brings it full circle to where you started. You said before 13, nobody knew you could rap. I mean, what were you doing before 13? Were you getting into sports, or what kind of activities did you like to do as a young man in Belzoni, Mississippi?
Oh, that's easy. My hobby, well, I would say I lived a borderline sedentary lifestyle. Like if I wasn't in school, I was at home on the couch. I was either watching anime, or I was reading comic books, or I was playing Street Fighter 2 on my Super Nintendo, or anything involving Capcom. And when I realized I could rap, I decided to combine the two things I love. So I realized that I wanted to rap about stuff that was second nature, discussing real life events using video games, anime, comic book, and science fiction references. And it caused me to come up with my own brand, which is called Nerd Music. And it's a carefully organized acronym. It means never expecting regular days makes you seek inspiration creatively. So it's a brand I live by, even outside of music.
That is fantastic, man. And anime, I would be remiss. I would probably be pounded on by my 17-year-old daughter if I didn't ask, subs or dubs?
I would definitely have to say subs. The reason why is because, and this is for everybody that's not familiar with it. Now, if you listen to the dub, the translation, the audio translation may not always exactly fit what the people are actually saying. But when you read the subs, you're reading exactly what the main characters are saying. Now, dubs, I'll listen to them, if I'm in a situation where I don't feel like reading, or if I'm cooking or something like that. But if I'm just chilling, it's subs all day, every day.
Well, that's where I'm at, man. I have to have it dubbed because I got other things to do. If Jackie Chan's going to be in the background, in fact, I brought up Jackie Chan because there was a movie that he did a while back. It was probably before Rumble in the Bronx, before Super Cop, before any of those movies, and definitely before Shanghai Noon and stuff. But there was a translation. You were talking about subs and dubs where he was saying something to his sensei. Sensei, it's very important that you know this. and in the dub version, it was ooh. That was it, man. They cut out that whole line of dialogue and just left it with a ooh, and you saw his lips were, and it ooh, that was it. So yeah, you're right about with the reading, with the subtitles. You're going to get a better translation, especially with that same daughter that I'm talking about. She's trying to learn Japanese. So when she watches her anime and she watches the subs, she's going to learn a little bit more Japanese. Do you know any other languages, or have you learned?
I know a little bit of Spanish, just enough to get me by. I paid attention in Spanish class when I was in high school. A lot of it, some of it I still know. But it shocks people because I work at a job where people barely speak English. So, so I remember it was one guy, Latino. He actually came back. He was MIA for like a couple of months, but when he came back like a few weeks ago, I spoke to him and I said, "Bienvenido de nuevo." He looked at me and said, "Gracias." I said, "De nada." The supervisor said, "What did you just say to that boy?" I told him, "Welcome back." What did he say? He said, "Thank you." What did you say after that? I said, "You're welcome." And they were like, it was people that were like, "Why are you not a supervisor?" So it's just funny how that works out.
Do you know, being bilingual, I know a lot of Spanish. I'm half Cuban. Like I said, I know Spanish, and I've gotten a lot of jobs simply, even though I wasn't qualified any other way, but simply because I knew Spanish. So I encourage, hey, this is primarily a learning podcast. I want people to learn from you. Having Spanish, having a different language in your back pocket makes you more valuable, because that whole Babylon thing, the whole world has different languages. And, there's a lot of people that are set in their ways. And I know a few here in the South that'll say, "Why can't he just speak English? Why can't he just speak English?" Well, I mean, you can learn Spanish or French or Japanese or Chinese or something else, Swahili if you want, But it brings people together, And what is the other job that you do? I know you're the super nerd. You got the nerd music. That's definitely in control. But everybody's got a day job. What's the day job that you do?
At this moment, I work at a fish processing plant. And it's pretty decent. I get paid every week, But, that's not where everything is going to end. But I'm grateful for it because I wouldn't have been able to release all this music or release those music videos if not for it. So, that's a lifeline right now.
That's what it is,
Right now,
get yourself, and you're talking to new artists that are trying to make it big. Get yourself a steady job that has some benefits, maybe has some health insurance. That way, you're running out of money. Don't worry. Friday, they're going to give you a little bit more. And in the evenings, or depending on what your shift is, the time that you're off, you can go work on your music. Now, when you're working on your music, do you have a little studio set up at your house to where you can do your demos, or do you go off to a studio somewhere close?
Well, I do have a studio that I go to, but it's an hour away from me. See, I go to Jackson, Mississippi. I go to the Heights Lab. Rhett Robinson, awesome person. I was able to record my third song for my upcoming album in the studio. It was all positive vibes. So, and I've had people that told me that I need to invest in my own studio because it shocked a lot of people because not only did I release Death Star, I released 2 other projects in the past. And for people to see it, they're like, "Dude, you need your own studio. Like, if you're driving music that fast, if you had your own studio, you could probably drop stuff back to back to back." So maybe in the future, maybe. But I'm debating on it.
No, but the thing is, though, we cannot do it all by ourselves, man. We can do a certain amount by ourselves, but we need a team. And it's good that you go to a place where there's a man or a woman sitting there at the console that has a discerning ear, that really has no skin in the game, but knows how to do it, knows how to listen, knows how to mix that stuff, master it, properly, so it has, the ability to get on the radio perhaps, or at least get some YouTube hits or some Apple Music hits. But I see the only record that I see on your Geekster the SuperNerd, the Bandcamp, is your album. That's the Death Star album. You say there's more albums than that?
Oh yes. On September, I think 23rd, 25th, I released the Art of Fighting EP that was based on the video game Art of Fighting. That's on all streaming platforms and YouTube. And in December of last year, I released a mixtape called Final Fight, inspired by the video game Final Fight. And that too is on YouTube and all streaming platforms as well.
Wait a minute. Are you a gamer? Because I'm playing way too much Fortnite. Tell me about the games that you play. I need to get out of Fortnite, man. I'm so addicted to Fortnite. Every time I play and I stream as KeysDAN Gaming. I'm on Fortnite, man. I need to find a better game. Where you at? Where you playing?
I'm playing different stuff. Believe it or not, an hour ago, I was playing the Batman Return to Arkham series. I'm on Batman Arkham Asylum right now. I have Street Fighter V Champion Edition. I got so much stuff right now. And I even bought the Street Fighter 30th Anniversary Collection.
Okay.
So with me, and you can tell I'm a Capcom baby. I grew up with it. So I'm trying to build a collection, so to speak. So I got other games besides that. I have Mortal Kombat X. I got Mortal Kombat 11. I'm getting up there.
Well, are you playing on console or are you playing on PC?
PlayStation 4, Team Sony.
PlayStation 4. Okay. I'm still the wife and the kid, they both have Switches, and there's even a Wii out there. But I play my games when I'm streaming. I do them on the computer, on the PC. But I have that Street Fighter 5. I played that, like the 1 through 5, and I got through all the levels. So I beat that one. So that's in the garbage, but there's one that I couldn't get through, and I got what was it? Marvel Avengers. Oh, Marvel Avengers. Have you played this game?
Yes, it is epic. It is, and the best part about it is you can customize all the heroes. Like they even have the Grey Hulk on there. That's the thing that tripped me out about it. Different Iron Man costumes and things like that. So I think they're supposed to still be doing updates for it. Because last time I checked, it's still having more stuff going on. So that's definitely one game I have to re-download. I got to get.
Okay, I went ahead and I paid for the game, and then it became a free game. But the thing, maybe I need to revisit it, because the thing that I remember about that game was there was a lot of flying to the area. There was a lot of waiting around, I'm waiting, and punching your fist while you're on the airplane, but getting to the campaign would last 30 seconds or a minute, and then you're in the plane for 5 minutes. It was terrible.
Okay.
At least in the beginning.
It was. Yeah. It gets better as you progress through the game.
Okay. All right. I got to revisit that, man. I want to know some geeky stuff, man. And I know, maybe you could tell me what kind of geeky stuff that I should be getting into, because I'm guessing you play video games. I'm guessing you like Star Wars and Star Trek. And is there are you a fan of one over the other? And I know that there's Daleks on Tatooine on the Enterprise. Ooh, I just made a lot of people mad. If I say on the Enterprise we were fighting Daleks on Tatooine, mad.
Oh crap!
Uh-oh. My wife went by and she almost punched me in the gut. No, but what are you a fan of? What are you watching these days that's in the sci-fi world or otherwise? What's on the Geekster SuperNerd scope?
I would definitely have to say I watched the Resident Evil series on Netflix. It was disappointing. I was hoping they would kind of at least stick close to the story. That was a flop. And I kind of and my suspicions were confirmed because I saw on Google they discontinued it altogether. I said yes, yes.
Oh,
So
yeah.
with that,
Was Mila Jovovich involved in that or no?
So what, sir?
Was Mila Jovovich involved in that or no?
The people that made the Resident Evil series, they were in no way, shape, or form involved in it. That's why it flopped so bad.
Gotcha.
The movies were way better. At least in the movies, you saw the main characters like Chris, Claire, Leon, and all that. Wesker. The series on Netflix had nothing to do with Resident Evil. It just had the zombies and the T-virus, and it didn't have any memorable characters like I don't know what they were trying to do. I don't even think they knew what they were trying to do.
I think you wonder if there's a suit that says, hey, what made this movie great? Well, it was a pretty girl shooting zombies. And that's it? That's all there was?
Not impressive.
There's more to it. There's more to it. But I mean, yeah, okay, so that's a thumbs down from the Geekster. No Resident Evil Netflix. Now, you know what's funny is I gave up my Netflix. We gave up our Netflix because their price just kept going up and up and up, man. So now we got the Prime and the HBO Max, and that seems to be where we're at. HBO only because it came with our phone. Thank you, AT&T. Sponsor me.
Oh yeah. They'll show love to you. Shoot. And I'm actually thinking about getting like an actual account for Crunchyroll. Like I got an account, but it's free. Only thing about it, the commercials come in. I'm thinking about getting like the premium account to where I can be able to watch anime an hour after Japan releases it. So I'm thinking about doing that.
Man, you are really into anime. I know my daughter is into it as well. I mean, the only thing I know is Sailor Moon, maybe a little bit of Black Tuxedo, maybe a little bit of, that's it. I'm not really all that up on it. What titles should I be watching? And my listener, what should my listener be listening to and watching?
Well, I'll say this. With the anime I've watched, because see, I watch everything. I have no preference. If it's anime and it has a good plot to it, I will binge watch the crap out of it. So I would say Attack on Titan, that's a classic. My Hero Academia, I would have to say, it was one anime talking about an orphanage. And there's some kids that they grow up to be a certain age, but they end up getting fed to monsters on the outside of the outside world. I'll come back to it. It'll come to me eventually, probably. But Hunter x Hunter. I would definitely have to say, it's a lot that's coming to me right now. I had one. I don't want to say Dragon Ball Super because that's cliche. Everybody's going to automatically be like, "Oh, he's going to come out with that one."
But you can't hate on them. You can't hate on them because they're the biggest. They're the ones that sell baseball cards and merchandise. There's a reason for that because they did it right. That's like hating Justin Bieber just because he's Justin Bieber. The man, the boy grew up in front of us and is still making music. People gotta don't hate the ones that are on top. I mean, love the underdogs too. I mean, I do appreciate the underdogs.
Yep. And speaking of that, two more anime that are close to me is JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, and I would. The newest series, the newest installment, Stone Ocean, is actually on. I don't know if it's on Crunchyroll, but it's definitely on Netflix. Definitely on Netflix. And I will also have to say Bleach. Gotta say Bleach. Gotta say Bleach.
Okay. I mean, the one that I heard about on that one was Hero Academia, and I think that one's what about a bunch of superheroes, and there's a lot of them in the world. Is that what's happening?
In the world of My Hero Academia, at least 80% of the human population is born with superpowers, or what they call quirks. Now, unfortunately, it pertains to a boy known as Midoriya. Now, Midoriya wants to be a hero because his idol is All Might. And All Might is pretty much like I would say the Goku of their universe. Like legendary status. Like you can't go nowhere and not hear his name. So he wants to be a hero, but he finds out that he was born without any superpowers. So what happens is he actually ends up getting saved by All Might. And he asks All Might if he can be a hero. All Might really didn't give him an answer. So what happened is he has a best friend named Bakugo. Well, they were friends before he went to the superhero school. Bakugo gets caught by a slime monster. Nobody's trying to save Bakugo. Deku knows he has no superpowers, but he still rushes in to try to save him. Now, All Might sees this. Now, All Might, he had like a serious battle injury he sustained a few years back. So he can only be in this super powerful mode for like 4 hours, and then he just goes back skinny. But he sees Deku, and it kind of inspired him. So he actually finds the strength to turn back into his muscular form, saves Deku and Bakugo. So Deku goes home. All Might follows him, and he tells him, you know what? You can be a hero. I see it in you because I was just like you when I started. And that's how the journey begins. Deku is able to obtain All Might's power because he passed it on to him. So the whole journey is basically about him and a few other main characters becoming very powerful, very inspirational heroes.
Man, I love the excitement. You're making me want to watch this thing. I don't have a lot of TV watching because I'm doing a lot of this, a lot of talking into microphones. But you're my limited TV view. Now I have to put My Hero Academia on the list somewhere. But do I have to download Crunchyroll? I guess I do. Do I have to put up with commercials? Probably, because I'm not going to pay another $5, $10 a month for TV. It just gets it's getting expensive.
It is. I promise you, it is. Shoot. They got like a little program called Slinger, I think, something like that. And the basic package is $35, but you get BET, VH1, Nickelodeon, and Cartoon Network included in that bundle. I might actually cop that. I might actually get that.
All right.
That way.
Well, I mean, years ago, we gave up cable because cable was getting to be $100 a month. But then if you get all these services, $10, $10, $20, $20, $10, you're back up to $100 a month watching TV. But I'd much rather do this, and talk to people like you. And then you are creating, content for the people. You have a few of the videos. I mean, I'm a child, like I said, of the MTV age of the 80s. That's where I grew up. I graduated in 86. So I remember when MTV used to have music videos. And whenever I'm doing parties, I'll play videos on a TV screen. So I appreciate that you've taken the time not only to make the songs, but also produce music videos. Who's helping you produce those music videos?
My partner KO, he actually lives 15 minutes away from me. And when I really just thought about it, because everybody, generally everybody, literally everybody I came across that knew I was rapping and making it said, you need to do a music video. And I thought about it, and I said, well, Trump has to be the first one. Because it resonated with a lot of people. So when they did that, it was a lot of people. Even to this day, there are still people saying that it's relevant because speculation is going on that Donald Trump is supposed to be starting a campaign to become president again. So this could be an opportunity to promote Death Star again. So I talked to KO. I said I'm going to need some more music videos because with this album I'm dropping, I'm going to need some serious visuals. He said, I got you. Say less. So that's going to be on the way too.
Well, I know the name of the song is "Trump is a Chump," and the thing is on that, but it's about the one thing that he said about Senator McCain, where he didn't call him a war hero. And I know primarily it's not about Trump being a chump. It's about you dedicating this song to the heroes, to the people that fell for freedom, right? Is that where you're heading?
It really is. And the reason, and it was also about him also slandering their names. Like when I really did my research on John McCain, when they talked about him, he was actually that guy. He actually went to war. He actually flying airplanes and stuff like that, running the risk of probably being hit by missiles or shot down by other planes. Like they just didn't give him the respect that he deserved. They really didn't. And for him to say that he was captured and I don't respect people that got captured, I felt so strongly about that. That's why in that verse I said just explosive. Trump claiming that he the bomb, but he never threw a grenade in Vietnam. That was not just to shame him, but to also give John McCain his props.
I like that line. I like that line in that song as I heard it. But you know, you're giving props to the people that have. I wish we didn't have to have war. I wish we didn't have to have an army. I wish we could get along. But there's always a fight. There's always a struggle. We need to get over this struggle. Just listen to some Geekster the SuperNerd, some nerd music, and get along, man. Just have a good time, flow together. I mean, what else do you like to do? What's your downtime when you're not slinging fish and singing songs? What's Lawrence Luton up to? What's your pastime? I guess you're watching a lot of anime. And what else? What else is going on in your life?
Believe it or not, I'm actually into a lot of poetry too. If I'm not watching anime or playing my PlayStation 4, I'll actually write some poetry or actually look up some poems that actually pertain to what I'm feeling or what I'm thinking. And it's really therapeutic when you actually we need to just read, because I had to downsize the time I spend on a TV, my PS4, because TV does rot your brain. Yeah. So I try to stimulate it. I try to keep it stimulated.
Yeah, even when I do play Fortnite, I try to limit it to an hour, and and not even every day, an hour every couple of days, every 3 days. I know that, my streaming services, they go, hey, you got to play at least 4 hours in 2 weeks or else you're going to get kicked off this platform. I'm like, man, it's like a job. You don't want to make that like a job. That's supposed to be your downtime, your relaxing time, even though you're doing it, to build up a community. And your music, I imagine that when you're really in it, when you're in a studio, you're singing your songs, you're rapping your rap to a nice beat, it's got to be therapeutic to you, right?
It really is, because a lot of my music actually is inspired by stuff I feel or stuff I've experienced or stuff that other people have seen or experienced, and it weighs heavily on me. But what I've noticed when I first recorded my very first song ever, I'm like, dang, I forgot what I was upset about or what I felt some kind of way about. So I always had that mentality to where when I'm in the booth, it's nobody but me and my thoughts in the microphone. That's all I focus on, and magic happens every time. It never fails.
Well, that's what music can do for you. That can change minds. That can make you feel a certain way. You got people that come out to watch you at a Geekster the SuperNerd show, listening to your nerd music. They came out of their house and you give them a show. You make them feel a little bit better. Maybe they had a bad day at work. Well, you're going to make them feel a certain kind of way. Maybe you're going to make them think a different kind of way. Think a thought that maybe they weren't prepared for. But I guess, man, are you playing out anywhere? You said you do poetry. I know that there's a thin line between poetry and rap. You know, is it just setting a poem to music? Is that the same thing? Am I getting this right?
Yeah, it's pretty much because it's just as you said, it's a thin line. It's just that rap is poetry that has rhythm to it. That's all it is. Like basically like a poem that has music around it. And you're reciting that poem based on the flow in which that music is going. So that's really all it is. That's all it is.
Well, I know in the 90s when I was growing up, you know, I guess I was in college and I would love going to coffee shops and listening to some slam poetry, you know, people just giving thoughts, young people that are also in college or maybe just out or maybe just getting into, or even older, you know, there's old men and women that would come to the shows and spit stuff from, you know, 40, 50 years ago that they were going through. And I enjoyed that so much. I mean, when you go, do you tell your poems like at a poetry festival, or do you go out on stage? You know, when you're doing your nerd music, do you slip in a poem here and there, a story?
I would definitely say not yet, but now that I'm talking, I really feel that I need to. And I know it's going to be a showcase that's coming up, and I'll definitely implement that idea into that too, because it's all about being creative and just being creative to your maximum output, you know. And I feel like that's something that would definitely be beneficial. I guess the reason why is because nerd music it wasn't really just, I would say it's food for thought. I wouldn't even say it's music, it's food for thought. That's how I would view it, because even though I have like club beats and stuff like that, it's the kind of music you can dance to it, but if you just sit down and listen to it, it'll blow your mind every time.
Oh yeah, you give them a beat and then you give them a thought. If they really listen to the lyrics, they're going to get an idea. You know, it might be the idea that they already had, but it might be an idea that they didn't have. And you could change, not necessarily change minds, because some people are so set, but at least have a conversation. It's nice to have a conversation with somebody that doesn't think like you. And I know in the beginning we talked about a lot of politics. I stay down the middle myself, man. I don't think that anybody in the high government is really for us, but maybe the local government. You know, vote for your local superintendent, your librarians, you know, whatever you got local, you know, the different, the bills for drugs and, you know, I guess marijuana legislation, you know, really read into all that. That's stuff that's important to what's going on in your community. When you go to the grocery store, when you go to your local, you know, club, that's going to affect you, the stuff that's local. So if anybody's going to vote, hey, at least vote locally. I don't know. But, you know, I don't know how it is in Mississippi, but I can't imagine. I can imagine that people are people all over the world. We all want the same thing, a little money in our pocket, roof over our head, little food on the plate. And if we don't have that, sometimes you get desperate, you know, and that's where we began, you know, where you have cousins that are in jail. You know, you got people that you actually know, that you grew up with, that are in jail. You know, is jail benefiting anybody? Maybe a few. Maybe there's a few people that are really bad that cannot be helped, and they need to be in jail. But there's a few that are in jail that maybe should go to a hospital, you know, and get some therapy. I don't know. Talk to somebody. What do you think?
I feel like there are individuals that do need to be there. It's certain people that say, I don't wish jail on anybody, but that's speaking from a perspective of a person that did not deserve to be there. Mm-hmm. But we have individuals that sometimes they can be so far gone that they're just stuck in their mindset of criminality, to where even, you know, therapy or counseling might not be able to, help them out. So for them, that might be the best. But individuals that are innocent or at the wrong place at the wrong time or dealing with the wrong people or something like that, I feel like they deserve a fighting chance, and that's the whole reason why I'm working on this album so passionately, because I feel like it's important to speak on how it is that it's not so much as it is that the justice system is letting people down, but on the strength of being real, it has these picks and chooses of who they help, of who they support, and whose freedom and civil rights they fight for. I think that's really what it boils down to.
Well, I know there was a whole thing, real recently over the last few years with defunding the police, and you can't defund the police. We need somebody who's trustworthy, going to help us out, but maybe put some money into some of the other more, other beneficial help. If somebody is screaming out that they're going to kill themselves, don't just send a cop with a gun. Send somebody who can kind of talk them down, a counselor maybe. Can we get that? I don't know. I just see so many people out there screaming, metaphorically and physically screaming for help. And if I have the means, if I have the ability, I'll reach out and help. And my wife just asked me today about Coho, the City of Hope outreach here in Conway, Arkansas. It's developed by Dr. Philip Fletcher, who took a wrong turn into a neighborhood full of people that were desperate, and they he wasn't going to stop there, and he ended up helping out a bunch of homeless people that needed comfort, so a plate of food, a roof over their head. And that's just a small thing in this community. And I'm very happy when they call and they say, hey, can you help us out? And I go, yeah, I can't help that much, but I can help a little. I'm sure you have community stuff in your community, that you help out or that you can, if you can.
Yeah. But it's a lot that can be done. One thing about it, I would have to say, just put more activities down here, like maybe well, I know we have the the parks and things like that. We have that, block parties, people, community services where people actually clean up and stuff like that. It's just, I think that the thing about the place where I live is more like a retirement area, to where you come back when you're in your 70s or your 80s, you live with disability, but I feel like it can still be stuff for the young people, because this is where everything starts for us, so I think that was one of the goals. Well, it is one of the goals I have, to put more recreational activities down here for kids, because that's one of the reasons why we end up growing up so fast, because it's not that we don't want to stay in a child's place. It's just that we don't have enough stuff for kids, so we can't help but grow up fast.
Well, that's an opportunity there. You say a lot of old folks are there. There's a lot of old communities, a lot of lonely old people. Maybe their spouses have died and they don't have anybody. So maybe you can go, an hour a week or so, and just talk to an old guy. Maybe you'll learn something about Vietnam or World War II, or what it was like growing up in the 70s or the 60s or the 50s, or even before that. What was it like in World War II and how you were living here? You could learn a lot from some old folks. I did appreciate when I did a karaoke show for some old people at an assisted living facility. Not supposed to call them old folks homes anymore. Supposed to call them retirement communities and assisted living facilities. But that's one thing you can do. But you say if you got a park, man, you could put on a show. Are you playing out for anybody? I know you said you had a showcase. Tell the people about that.
Well, it's definitely for the Hood Idol Tour, and that's really where I really just showcase my musical capabilities. people from different parts of from the surrounding areas of Belzoni, such as Jackson, maybe Greenville. They come to these showcases. They perform. Some do it to have fun, and some of them do it to win the grand prize. But me, I just go because I want to be heard. But I do have more stuff coming in the works because I came across some comic books and anime festivals that need musical performances. If I get my press kit ready and my promo video, all I would have to do is email it to them, and I'll be doing actual, bigger performances. So that's definitely on the lookout as well.
See, now that's an advantage that you have with the type of music that you do, is you can actually go to a Comic-Con and perform at a comic book festival. I love it when they say, KeysDAN, we want to have a DJ over at our Comic-Con, and I'll say, I'll be right there. And they do karaoke. They have fun, man. But with some Geekster music, some nerd music at a Comic-Con, oh, that would work out great. Do you have any comic book festivals in your town, in your area?
Oh, in Jackson we do. There's actually a Comic-Con that they have in Jackson now. So I'm getting stuff ready because next year, I think in August, they'll definitely be bringing it back. So maybe have like some tracks with comic book references. Like, come to think of it, now that I've been playing Arkham Asylum, I actually came across like some possible villains I could do singles inspired by, especially Scarface. When I found out his backstory, I said, I can actually make a song about this. So get that down and have it ready. So when Comic-Con does come down here, they'll be prepared for some awesome stuff.
All right, I can see it now. The banner up on Jackson Comic-Con, featured guest, Geekster the SuperNerd. I see it now. Oh, they're going to have a good time listening to your flow, listening to your raps. I mean, shoot, you got, like I said, all I have is that one album, Death Star, but you got at least 10 tracks on that one. Path of Anakin, Planet Jack. I mean, is it all music about Star Wars, but really telling... Oh, okay. I see the Trump is a Chump is on there, but it's music of and inspired by Star Wars and a few other things.
Yes, and my favorite song on there, one of my favorite, is actually Planet Jakku, and the reason why is because when Donald Trump was president, he kept telling us that he was going to build a wall and have Mexico build it. And then the president of Mexico said, we are not paying for that effing wall. So I said, I need to make a song about this. So he was trying to make it seem like they were just disgusting, dirty people that were all criminals. I said, well, you know what? I said, there's got to be a Star Wars reference that pertains to this. So I went to Google and I said, are there any planets that they're inhabited by criminals in the Star Wars universe? And Planet Jakku popped up. So I'm like, okay, now I got something to work with. And when I did the flow, I promise you, one of my coworkers actually heard it. And a couple of Mexican people actually heard the song. Like, they live in my town, not the one that at my job, but they heard it. And they were like, oh, you. I'm like, it was dope. It was the dopest feeling on earth, man.
That's what I was talking about. I talked about that you write a song about Planet Jakku, but it's not about Planet Jakku. It's about the border and the wall and the way that, this country feels about that country, and vice versa. Yeah, there's more. You're a very thoughtful person, Lawrence Luton, Geekster the SuperNerd. You're a very thoughtful person. And I like to be mindful of your time. I know we need to wind this thing down. I like to limit them to about an hour or so. And I know that I don't want this to be the last time that we chat. I want you to come back as time progresses and chit-chat with me a little bit more and find out a little bit more and delve deeper into Geekster the SuperNerd and nerd music and what you're all about. I want you to give shout-outs to people that have helped you along the way. And if there's any other avenues that you want to explore, you could talk about them now, or you want to give promos or plugs for anything, go.
I would have to say I want to give a shout out to definitely Crazy Eight the Great, Hieroglyphics, aka Swirl Game Notes, the Illest Gamer. These are other nerdcore hip hop artists that I'm very cool with. I'm actually going to be getting features from them quite soon. So much respect to them because they motivate me to continue to go harder when it comes to this. I want to give a shout out to my producer, Villainous Beats. I've been cool with him. He actually recorded the song Poison for my Final Fight mixtape. He's going to be recording, producing the whole album I'm working on right now. So that's definitely in the works. I want to send a shout out to UK Vault. If things work well, I might be performing in the UK. Hopefully, I'm definitely going to try and have that in the works. Just everybody that rocks with my music. Everybody that's either if you are a nerd or you're a geek or both, I want to give a shout out to you all because I'm telling your stories. I'm telling our stories. So as long as you all rock with me, I promise you I'll tell our stories and I won't let you all down. That's pretty much it.
Well, I know the place to find you. If people put Geekster the SuperNerd, all one word, just kind of jam Geekster the SuperNerd, no spaces, put that in your Google, you're going to come up. I found your Instagram, your Twitter. Your Twitter's at TheGeeky1, but I found your YouTube channel, SoundCloud, music, the Apple, Spotify, Bandcamp, everything came up. You're well branded, sir. You know about the technological age where you have to brand yourself. So Geekster the SuperNerd, you've done well, you and your team, even if you are your team. But are there any other avenues you need to explore that you want to talk about, or as we wind this thing down?
It's one I have my heart is so set on. I actually want to compete in the Capcom Pro Tour, and the reason why is because they've actually been going hard with the Street Fighter game, and they'll go different places. Different people compete, and I want to compete just to win. I want to compete to learn some combos. So far all I can do are like maybe 11 hit combos. I'm trying to get to that 20 hit mark. So if I can fight against people, even if I lose to you, I'll be like, okay, so those button combinations go together. So that's a long-term goal that I have my sights on.
Well, my PS4 got stolen, recently, sadly, but a lot of things got stolen out of my storage unit. But one of my favorite games on there was Capcom versus Marvel. It was great, man. I really enjoyed that, playing that game. I almost want to buy another PS4 just to play that game.
Oh, yeah. I have a website I can take you to. As a matter of fact, I got to do a promo. If you want... those of you that want a high quality cell phone, tablet, headphones, or, PlayStation 2, 3, or 4s at a fair and economical price, go to backmarket.com. I got the phone that I'm talking to you on now is a Samsung Galaxy S9, and all it cost me was $116 with an $8 shipping fee. So with that, I'll say if you want a PlayStation 4, that's definitely where you should go because they have them on sale. They're for cheap too.
Hey, the Geekster knows, man, giving deals. All right, that's it for this. I always like to finish these things off with last words for the people. This could be words to live by. This could be, something you heard a long time ago, or maybe a mantra that you wake up with every morning, or just whatever pops into your head at this moment in time. Lawrence Luton, Geekster the SuperNerd, give the last words for the people.
Never be ashamed of who or what you are. Growing up, I'm not going to lie, I hated what I was at first because I didn't understand it. I just understood the stereotype. But I learned that being a nerd is an individual that knows and understands complex things and situations. A geek is somebody that understands, knows, and can fix complex situations and things. So when I learned what and who I am, I was able to embrace it. That's how the super nerd part came in. Being a nerd, it doesn't just stop with just knowing who you are, but when you learn to embrace it, you learn to love who you are. So that's how I became Geekster the SuperNerd, because I've learned to love who I am and I embrace it in everything I do, even my music. So to everybody, embrace what you are. If there's nothing wrong with you, stand on what you believe.
Well, there you have it, party people. Lawrence Luton, Geekster the SuperNerd. Just put those words together and put them in your Google search or your favorite search engine, and find out more about Geekster the SuperNerd and nerd music. Oh, I knew it was going to be good. I knew it was going to be good. He's a very thoughtful person. If you listen to his raps, and I did mention KRS-One in the podcast, because when I think of thoughtful, educational, thought-provoking raps, I think of KRS-One, because that's pretty much what he did. He made you think when he was doing his raps. And, Tupac made you think. Biggie made you think. There's people that rap and they have substance and they have a story to tell. And that's one thing that Geekster the SuperNerd does in great with great satisfaction. So, check out Geekster the SuperNerd. Stalk him. Find him everywhere on all of his social medias, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube. Even find him on the Facebook. I got him. I got Lawrence Luton out there on the Facebook. All the links are down below in the show notes. I don't know why I'm struggling at the end of this. Maybe it's getting too late or too earlier, whatever it is. All right, party people. Thank you so much, Lawrence Luton, Geekster the SuperNerd, for being on the What Makes You Famous podcast. I appreciate it. That's it for this edition of What Makes You Famous. Now, if you, yes, you, my loyal listener, if you'd like to be on the program, if you'd like to tell your story, I encourage you to give me a call, 501-470-6386, or email keysdan@aol.com. That's it for me. It's KeysDAN, RadioWhat.com, DJLittleRock.com. Peace. I'm out of here.